Happy New Year and welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. And I'm back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 104. 104 episodes of Ole Walls House here. So welcome back. I'm kicking over my trash can under my desk. I apologize. So welcome back. Just going to start off by saying thank you to everybody. Appreciate all your support as always. Big thanks to producer Kevy as always as well. And that quick housekeeping, we're going to do that real quick too. If you guys could, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, share. Just let somebody know about Ole Walls House. Get on there, subscribe to everything, throw me a rating. It helps put it out there a little bit more. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. Fun show coming. I'm in a good mood. As I record on New Year's Day. Good showing from the Packers last night. NFL Week 17 was fun. Another fun week coming. We got the Rose Bowl starting here in just about an hour or so now. So fun show. Going to talk football. Obviously, we got the Flyers to talk about. Not much in the way of college basketball. A little college football talk. Coming as well, my passing thoughts, of course. So, fun show coming. As always, brought to you by Liquid IV, 20% off Liquid IV at liquidiv.com. They got all those great flavors. I'm a fan of the Concord grape. You know, that little travel pack, 16 ounces of water, boom, bang, dang. You're all set. 3 times hydration of water alone, twice the electrolytes of your leading sports drinks. They're into donating water. It's a good way to do it. So liquidiv.com or the link in the show notes below, promo code OWH, that gets you 20% off. All right, let's get into the show. Let's lead the NFL segment with my Green Bay Packers, of course, because I think we do that all the time. We roll to a win. Yes, I'm saying we, goddammit. It's that time of year. We're saying it. Packers roll to a win. The Vikings can't decide what they want to do at quarterback. They end up coming back after halftime with Nick Mullins and have a little bit more success. But the Packers got out early, got up 10-0 in the first, and just kind of never looked back. We're up 23-3 at halftime, tacked another touchdown and a field goal on in the fourth quarter. The defense did start to let some stuff up in the second half. As I mentioned, Nick Mullins came in and did throw for 113 yards and a touchdown. Only had a rating of 88, but that's a half of football. He threw for 113 yards and a touchdown. So not going to get out of control with the defense. We know the defense has been an issue. This is a banged up Minnesota team. Kirk Cousins, while they're shirtless and in not just in spirit, but shirtless in real life, leading the skull chant to start the game. Was not playing quarterback for these guys. And Kirk, who was on one of my fantasy teams that was just rocked with injuries, was having a great year. And, this is a different team since, obviously. Not the same team that the Packers played earlier in the year when the Packers got kind of the shit kicked out of them by them, if I remember correctly. What was the score of that game? How far back do we have to go? Yeah, 24-10. Not fun. Not fun either. That was that third quarter just got blown open. And it was kind of coming out of that, though, that the Packers, kind of started to find a little something and then went on the mini run that turned into the mini fuckery. And now that leads us back here to the simple fact of Week 18, the Packers win and they get in. Let's not jump to that just yet. Let's stay with the Vikings game. It was impressive. I wasn't watching alone. I wasn't, and the Packers got up early, so I didn't have my best concentration on. I was trying to play a little categories while I was at it. Won that game, just in case you wondered. I was the winner of the New Year's Eve categories competition in my house. I am the champion. But I think there's three main takeaways. Jaden Reed's a stud. Injured again. He's got a chest injury coming out of the game, so I think he's already questionable for Sunday next week. Aaron Jones brings a different dimension to this team. There's going to be a big moment in this Bears game, or if they somehow find a way to make the playoffs with a win, where he's going to have to hold on to the fucking football. Like we lest we forget that he has sometimes just decided that holding on to the football is completely fucking optional. But he had 120 yards on the ground last night, I believe. Yeah, 120 on the ground. Did he catch any balls? He caught another ball for 10 yards. So that was, something to be happy about. But he just brings another dimension. And it's not just AJ Dillon's slow ass getting 7 carries for 27 yards. It brings another dimension. And Jordan Love continues to play very good football. He was fantastic again last night. Again, I was super skeptical. I thought this was going to be a disaster. I thought Jordan Love was going to be a disaster. I didn't see it. Obviously, I'm not an NFL talent evaluator. That's fucking quite obvious. But at the start of the year, I looked right. I did. I was like, holy shit. I knew this was coming. This is exactly what I thought. And ever since that Vikings game, from the Rams on, with some stumbles here or there, he has been playing good football. And, there was always been flashes. The flashes have been more consistent. He's been consistent last night, 24-33, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, 125 rating. There were a couple of throws they missed just by a little bit, but I can't remember the one. He was he was rolling left and just overthrew a guy. And if he had thrown a good ball, he's walking into a touchdown. There was a pass where he let a guy a little bit too much, but it hit him in the fucking hands. If that's where we're getting to the point where oh, those were his misses, that's good. That's good. I hope there's no reversion. I hope we can build on this. And there are people much smarter than me in football who are this is looking good. So hopefully it does look good. And it's looked good for the past few weeks. The second half of the season has been a different Jordan Love than the first half of the season. Hopefully we get the second half of the season, we build on that. Because if we build on that, there's something there offensively. Christian Watson has got to figure out whatever the fuck's happening with that hamstring because he needs to play. Dobbs was out there a little bit. Luckily, he didn't do too much against me. I needed him to just take a little chill pill so I could lock up a third place finish in my one fantasy league. The computer rides again, battling the team out of the dumpster of the depths of despair last year to a third place finish here this year. But back to the Packers. So again, I don't want to get carried away because their wins the last 2 weeks are against a Panthers team that is terrible and a Vikings team that doesn't have a quarterback. This isn't beating the Vikings earlier in the year with Kirk Cousins, but it all leads to this. There's a game next week at home game here. Tell me if this sounds familiar. The Packers, with one game to go, after starting slow, recovering through some bumps in the road, have a chance at the end of the year. Everything is broken their way. The Steelers beat the Seahawks yesterday in a little bit of an upset. After the Giants choke one away because Mason Crosby still can't make a fucking kick. The Steelers beat the Seahawks and clear the road for the Packers to host a game in Week 18 against a division rival that's already been eliminated from the playoffs. But that division rival is playing some of its best ball of the year. A young team with a quarterback who's trying to, find a little resurgence in himself. And they're just coming to Green Bay looking to play spoiler. Already eliminated from the playoffs. Any of that sound fucking familiar? Because I remember that fucking story last year, and I remember how that went. So I don't want to see the exact same thing happen as the Bears come to town. I mean, it's almost identical. Almost identical. The Bears have one less win than the Lions did last year. I believe the Lions were 8-8 coming to town. Justin Fields has found something. Is kind of finding a resurgence. He's ready to prove. He's ready to prove that he's an NFL quarterback. Jared Goff had found something. He was ready to prove he was an NFL quarterback. They're a young team. Late season resurgence. The Bears, what have they? They've won 4 out of their last 5. 4 out of their last 5 and 5 out of their last 7. To kind of come all the way back from being, just getting the shit kicked out of them early in the season. Lost their first 4 games of the year. 5 of their first 6. And here we are. The Bears coming to Lambeau division rival, looking to play spoiler. What could fucking go wrong for the Packers? Who knows? Can't wait. Can't wait. Luckily, we're not going to have to wait till the night game. That game is being taken by the Bills and the Dolphins. So we're going to get 3:30 in just a fantastic Week 18. Before we get to Week 18, let's circle back to Week 17 here. I made a couple notes. On this. Here are my like 3 to 5 word notes. 2 to 5 word notes. Ravens dominating. Jags field goaling. Eagles struggling. Crosby missing. Cincinnati dominating. KC comebacking. Steelers upsetting. Packers both racing. How about that? A little rhyme. Yeah, the Ravens dominating, just absolutely kicking the ever-loving shit out of the Miami Dolphins. It was a game early, and I mean early. It was a game. By the second quarter, things went awry. The Dolphins had the lead to end the first quarter, and then the Ravens score 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. The Dolphins only kick a field goal, and then they come back out in the third quarter, add another, and then excuse me, and then it just gets ugly late. The fucking the Ravens just stacked it on. Patrick Ricard, Melvin Gordon. Charlie Kohler was catching passes from Tyler Huntley. I mean, good Lord, 56-19 is the final. And like I said, it got ugly in a hurry. But just a big win for the Ravens. The Jags got a good win. There were, without Trevor Lawrence. I mean, granted, it's just over the Panthers, but hey, a win is a win. The Colts, I didn't mention the Colts in my little diatribe there. The Colts get a big win over the Raiders as well. We can go back to Saturday, the Cowboys and the Lions. Woo-wee! Wow! The Lions score with 23 seconds left, then go for 2 not once, where they get it, not twice, where they don't get it, but a third time and don't get it. Holy mackerel. There's the illegal touching call on the first successful 2-point conversion that seemed a little questionable. I saw Ross Tucker give a pretty interesting, I don't know that I agree with it, but it was an interesting concept as to why the call was made. That the Lions, when they went out to announce their ineligible guy covering up the receiver and how all that works, you have to announce it to the ref. Hey, I actually know this from junior high football. When I played junior high football, I played tackle and tight end is my 7th grade year. So if I was playing tight end, I would have to announce to Mr. Official that Big 74 here is an eligible receiver. So I know about this slightly. So when the Lions sent their guys out to tell the refs, they sent 3 guys out at once to tell the ref, hey, we're all eligible, in a little bit of a way to disguise it from not from the officials, from the Cowboys. The only problem is they kind of disguised it from the officials, and the video that you can find on Ross Tucker's, I think it's Ross Tucker Pods on his Instagram. Number 70, who I believe was the guy who caught it, was the last guy out. There's 2 guys talking. They're like, yep, I'm the guy. I'm eligible. And 70 kind of sneaks in at the end and says it, and then kind of heads off. I can see it. I don't think that's an excuse, but it's what it was. It's what it was. So that was quite the win for the Cowboys to hang on. They are now going to be in charge of their own destiny to win the division and host a first-round playoff game. Interesting call. I mean, Dan Campbell, it seemed like he was always going for that and was never alternate. So I guess you got to appreciate the man's conviction. Conviction, that's really something. Conviction. But yeah, I probably would have kicked the field goal after they pulled the first one back. But then but on the third one, you get it, you miss it, but you get the penalty from the offsides, and you're back up, to like the 3. I don't think they go all the way back to the 2, but Who knows? Who knows? Excuse me. Excuse me. Jags field goal. Eagles struggling. Eagles drop one to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray. Big E Sexton was telling Kyler he should go play baseball. Not yet. Not yet. Big E wrote to Kyler. Kyler ain't right back. Eagles up 21-6. Blow the lead and are just have been in a free fall. They have the 31st ranked defense in the NFL. 21-6 at halftime. And back come the Cardinals, score 15 points in the third, another 2 touchdowns in the fourth. Just a tough one. Tough one for the Eagles. I know some people, I didn't see exactly everything that happened here, but I know some people were, I think, questioning a little bit about the Eagles kicking the field goal instead of continuing to try and go score a touchdown. But 449 total yards. They gave up 221 rushing yards to the Cardinals. The Eagles, 11-5 now, are in a rough spot. You go back to October 15th, they lose to the Jets, but then they go on a little run. Beat the Dolphins, beat the Commanders, beat the Cowboys, beat the Chiefs, beat the Bills. Then they get boat raced by the Niners, beat the Cowboys again, and then it's been just kind of sketchy. Lose to the Seahawks. Tough one with the Giants. Lose to the Cards now. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. They've their defense is an issue. Their defense is a big issue. Crosby missing. Crosby misses one against the Giants. For the Giants against the Rams, that would have helped the Packers. So I said still hurting the Packers, because that was going to be big because the Rams picked up a win and the 49ers have clinched now due to the Eagles losing. So really nothing to play for the Niners in Week 18. The Packers would need the Rams to lose, but Steelers take care of that for us by beating the Seahawks. Hell yes. And then actually said Packers boat race the Vikings. Elsewhere, the Broncos seem to be done with Russell Wilson. They wanted him to get rid of some injury guarantees, and now all of a sudden he's not playing. I think I saw somewhere that he said he wanted to stay. The Broncos, without him, beat the Chargers with the Easton Stick-led Chargers. The Bills keep winning in a just fucking weird game against the Patriots. Again, that leads them to the Sunday night game where they can clinch. The Buccaneers do not clinch this week. They could have had they beat the Saints. They did not do that. Texans beat up on the Titans. The Browns. The Browns are in. The Browns have clinched a playoff spot. I'm like 99% sure about that. Yep, they have clinched a playoff spot. Joe Flacco, out of semi-forced retirement, is back. And we got ourselves a Cleveland Browns team in the NFL playoffs. So moving forward, Week 18, Steelers Ravens is very important on Saturday. Texans Colts also important on Saturday. The Colts are still in the playoffs hunt. They are currently the 7th seed. Yes, the 7th seed. The Browns, I think, are pretty locked at the 5 seed. The Bills can win their division. But if they don't, they need some help. I know Colts in that last spot this week here. They are playing the Texans, who I think that's kind of a win and in game there. It's Colts and Texans. Let me see. I had something up here. Texans can win and get in. If they beat the Colts, they're in. The Colts can take the South. They can win the AFC South if they beat the Texans. And the Jags beat the Titans. Meanwhile, the Colts, currently in the wild card position, can take the South crown with a Saturday victory over the Texans and a Jaguars defeat. Jaguars defeat, duh. And a Jaguars defeat in the regular season finale. I think they're in the playoffs with a win too, though. So I don't know if they're in with a loss. All right, moving on. Sunday, early games. Nothing of super note there, I don't think. I think Bucks win and they clinch, can the Bengals? I think the Bengals are kind of. Yep, the Bengals have been eliminated now. The Bengals are out. The Broncos are out. The Raiders, the Jets, the Titans, Chargers, and Patriots all eliminated. Yeah, it's just down to the Steelers and the Texans on the bubble in the AFC. NFC big games. Eagles have to win and then need a Cowboys loss to win the division. Packers, Bears, we've talked about that. Broncos or Raiders, I don't think that really means anything. I think that's in that later window because of just location, same thing. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks. The Seahawks need some help to get in. They have to win and then need a Packers loss. Yeah, Chiefs, Chargers. The Chiefs, comeback win for the Chiefs. That was important for them. I think, the Chiefs are clinched. So, yeah, they won the AFC West yesterday. That's what that was. So, yeah, fun week. Week 18 is coming. It's going to be fun. Love the setup. You get 2 Saturday games, 6 early games, 7 late games. Great for the all-day red zone. Sometimes red zone gets a little slow in the afternoon. You only got like the 3 games going. I know this was talked about, but you'd love to see more games in the afternoon. But it's something to do with the NFL doesn't like to start games other than like 1 or 2. They try, unless they're pulling it into like the main time slot. They're not just putting games at 4 o'clock to balance the schedule. They try and keep games before. They don't like to do like a 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock game. So that's why your West Coast teams always play those 4 o'clock. They try and get everything in the stadium by 2 o'clock and then out of the stadium by like 6 or something like that. I think I remember hearing it in a pod one time. So fun week in week 17. Week 18 shaping up to be real fun too. Can the Packers just beat the fucking Bears? The Packers can actually slide up to the 6th spot, I think I saw. Yes, if the Rams were to lose, they can jump the Rams and go to the 6th spot, which would mean they'd end up playing the Lions instead of the Cowboys. At least in this current city right here. So we'll see. Fun week. All right, let's keep rolling. Okay, Flyers update now. West Coast week. I caught the game last night. I was watching it while watching the Packers game while playing categories that I mentioned before with friends over. So don't have, didn't see the best of it. I missed some stuff here and there. I did see afterwards Tortorella not super pleased with the effort. It didn't seem. I just saw a quick clip and he was short and they tried to compliment somebody. He's like, I wouldn't say that. So not super thrilled all around. But yeah, tough week. 1-2, but an overtime loss. So 3 points out of the week that did fall. They were up in second in the standings. They're back to third now. They're in a tie in third place with 43 points with the Islanders. They have a couple of more regulation wins. The Islanders are a team that just annoys the shit out of me that they're 17-19. And the teams they're ahead of because of all the overtime losses they have. 9 overtime losses. Versus 19-16 New Jersey Devils, who are actually 19-14-2, versus 17-10-9 Islanders, and the Devils are a couple spots down. Just funny things, but just one point back of the the second place Hurricanes. The Rangers out in front by a bunch, 51 points in the division. Now in the wild card. 43 points is currently the leader in the wild card, the Islanders, 41-40. So even if the Flyers do fall back, they still have a little cushion with the wild card. Just looking over the schedule, this is where it all starts happening. Now the Flyers are playing games like every other day. I think there's only one stretch from like here through mid-February where they go more than 3 days without a game. So this is, I guess, where the rubber meets the road, or the blade meets the ice, if you will. Look at me making hockey references. Okay, so yeah, Flyers beat the Canucks, lost to the Kraken, lost to the Flames last night. So finish up that West Coast road trip with the Edmonton Oilers. Solid team by the looks of the standings. That'll be a tough test. Then they head back home. It turns into a 4-game home streak leading into next week. The lowly Blue Jackets in on Thursday. That's a must-win game. get a rematch against the Flames on Saturday afternoon. Afternoon games at the start of the year weren't great for us. But do get that rematch, and then following in the next week, they get the Penguins at home and the Canadiens. Penguins is a beatable team, and the Canadiens aren't playing great hockey. It doesn't seem they are, 4-4-2. The Penguins, the Penguins are streaking a little bit. They're 7-2-1, so those are going to be tough ones. Blue Jackets, like I mentioned, they're struggling. They're not terrible in their last 10, 4-3-3. Overall, just 12, 18, and 8, though. So there's some winnable games here coming up, and they got to take advantage because they're on the edge. They're in the playoffs, but they are on the edge. So got to stay locked in. Got to keep this rolling. Keep it rolling, so we can maybe find ourselves with some playoff beards come April and May. So maybe even June. I don't think June's happening. I know hockey playoffs do go late though. I don't think June. I don't think the Flyers are a June setup here, but maybe May. Maybe May. We could all hope. All right, let's keep rolling. The Rose Bowl has just concluded. We are about halfway through the first quarter in the Washington game. Washington just hit a big one down the sideline, and the receiver broken about another 20 yards to get it to the goal line. They scored. Texas with the ball now. I have a feeling we're going to see slightly less defense here in the second game, which I am unlikely to make it to the end of. Hence why I am recording this now before this game is even close to over. But what a goddamn game in the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl, my favorite bowl. New Year's Day, late afternoon, Central Time starts at 4 o'clock. That's pretty perfect. 5 o'clock's a smidge on the late side, but, done by 9. That's workable. The Rose Bowl has always kind of stipulated that they start at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I think it's to deal with the ability to get all the Rose Parade and all that shenanigans done beforehand. And then B, they like the sun setting as they're heading into the fourth quarter, I think is what it's always been. But yeah, they've always kind of held that they want to start at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 Pacific. And that's kind of their desired time slot, which probably when it's a national championship semifinal game pushes the second game later as Texas is down on the down near the goal line themselves. To a 9 o'clock Eastern start time, 8 o'clock Central. But yeah, the Rose Bowl, what a game. Michigan dominates the first half, 5 sacks in the first half, got another 1 or 2, at least 1, maybe 2 in the second half. The big boys look good. The Michigan's special teams, coached by Jay Harbaugh, it has been circulating the internet. I guess it's not that hard to figure out. You can probably look on their website. Made some whoopsies, a couple whoopsies, a few ooftas in the game. Obviously, fumbling that punt right in the first drive. It looked like Alabama was going to roll. Looked like it was going to roll Tide right away, and yeah, it actually looked like it was going to roll Tide before that because Alabama picked off the first pass, but the guy's fucking heel was out of bounds. I had an Alabama future, by the way. Damn. I got it right after they won the SEC title game. I was like, damn, these guys are going to get in. They're going to fucking win. So, yeah, that would be sweet. But, yeah, and then Michigan just dominates the first half. Just dominates. Straight up dominates. Only lead by 3. I was like, I think Alabama's going to figure this out. And they kind of did. And then all of a sudden, there's 4.5 minutes left, and here comes Michigan. After Alabama had the ball with like 6 minutes left with the lead, it felt like that was their chance to put the game away, and they didn't do it. And then when Michigan had the chance, they ended up getting 4th and 2, kind of deep in their own territory. And somehow, some way, somebody on that offensive staff from Michigan drew up a play that left Blake Corum wide the fuck open. and away he went. And then the dude from Michigan made it so much harder because he just smoked a dude in the back. It was maybe one of the most egregious blocking the backs I've ever seen. And it was completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. But then Michigan tried to fucking lose. The dude muffs the punt on the 5. Like, what are you doing? Just let it bounce. Like, let it bounce to the fucking end zone. He almost fucking gets a safety. They get out of there, get to overtime, and Blake Corum, again, just running like a man possessed, gets in the end zone. Tommy Reese makes some interesting play calls in the overtime session, and a low snap on the final play, something that plagued Alabama all game. The low snap got him one more time, and that was it. And Michigan takes down Bama. Will head to the national title game, and Jim Harbaugh, who's coached just slightly over half their games now, is headed to his first college national championship game, I believe. Right? Yeah. So everybody was ready to fire him not very long ago. College bowls elsewhere. I guess we'll kind of just spin through these, see if there's anything that catches my eye here. Let me get over to the bowls, the NCAA. Texas tied it up, by the way, at this point. 7:04 left in the first quarter. Again, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense happening in this game. Wisconsin LSU was today. Tennessee lays an absolute fucking beat down to the dog shit that was Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. In the words of Steve Spurrier, can't spell citrus without UT. Oregon predictably fucking beats the shit out of Liberty. Where else? We going back now. The Myrtle Beach Bowl. UCLA and Boise State played in the LA Bowl. Cal and Texas Tech in the Independence Bowl. Let's get to at least some decent teams. Oh, Georgia just absolutely drum fucks Florida State. Florida State was like 30 or so kids had opted out, and I think a lot of Georgia was there. Maryland beats the shit out of Auburn. Penn State, hey guys, big game James back at it again. Big game James. Another fantastic performance from a big game James coach team in a tough game. In a game, I think most of the guys were playing. Ole Miss kind of handles Penn State. Penn State, our boys hung around. 17-20 going into half. Actually scored first to start the game, but then just get completely outclassed in the second half. Just a mess. I mean, the play calling was still terrible. I mean, it's not going to change that much this time. I think what you can really throw out this year is conference bowl records. I don't think they mean anything this year. What else? Ohio State got beat by Missouri 14-3 in the Cotton Bowl. I didn't even see that. Notre Dame smoked Oregon State. Arizona beat Oklahoma. Like, I'm going through these with such apathy. I think bowl games are kind of stupid to begin with. I think they've been stupid. There was a better feeling about them when there was just a national title game. Every additional expansion in the college football playoff, and to be honest, 12 is enough. Don't go more than 12. I was a big proponent of 8 when they originally went to 4 and thought they should have expanded to 8. Because my comment was always the 9th team is never a team that can actually win the title. And who was the 9th team? Missouri. Like, no one actually thought Missouri could win the title. And Penn State's 10, Ole Miss is 11. Like, no one actually thinks those teams can win the title. Who's 12? Oklahoma. So you've got all the teams that you need. There's been a big problem with, like, do bowls even matter with a 4-team college playoff? Like, you can kind of get up for the other New Year's 6 bowls. You know, the other 4 of those, because they're just kind of big bowls and there's good teams in it. And if everyone kind of plays, there's some good games going on. But like now, I think the setup is all the not New York, Jesus, New Year's Six bowls will be um will be the in the playoffs. Sorry, I'm pausing out here as I'm talking. Yeah, I'm just trying to read here real quick. For the 24 and 25 season, the 4 quarterfinal games and 2 playoff semifinal games will be played in bowls on a rotating basis. The 2024 quarterfinals will be the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl, while the Cotton Bowl and Orange Bowl will host the semifinals. Then 25 quarterfinals will be Cotton, Orange, Rose, Sugar, Fiesta, Peach host the semis. And then national championship games in Atlanta and then Miami. So yeah, like the bowls are fucking damn near irrelevant now. And with kids opting out, like, what's the point? Like, Florida State, there's going to be more teams that are going to be like, fuck, you fucked us out of that 10th spot. Fuck you, I'm not playing. Just kind of like Florida State did. Like, there were surely some kids that are high-level draft picks, and they're like, I'm just not playing because of that. Like, Jaden Daniels didn't today. But there were plenty of kids on that Florida State that are probably like, yeah, I'm a NFL draft pick, but fuck you guys. Not going to play Georgia. Whether it's a little bit of a protest or like, fuck that, we don't want to go play Georgia and get our fucking asses beat. By the way, I still think, like, if you're like saying the best 4 teams in the country should have been in the college football 14 playoff, I know, like, I'm not using the Florida State game as justification, but like, hard to be like, Florida State, Georgia really wasn't one of the best 4 teams. At 12, again, I think this is soft. So, college football finally getting to a playoff system that makes some fucking sense. 12 teams, enough to accommodate all your major conference winners, and you can go deep enough to say that the next team out wasn't going to win. Like, college basketball has always been fine. The last team out, which is like the 37th team, wasn't going to win. Yes, I know there's 65 teams, but there's so many that are automatic bids, and some of those would never get. It's like the 37th best team in the NCAA. You lost your right to argument. If you're the 13th team in college football, you've lost your right to argue that you should have been in. Like, just don't lose fucking 3 games is essentially how you're going to get in now. So, all right. I'll watch some of this. If I'm still awake, maybe I'll pop back and do this, or depending on what the production schedule, if you will, maybe I'll just pop something in the morning if I don't stay all the way awake. So, all right, moving on. Well, howdy again. Looks like when I fell asleep in the third quarter, and this game looked to be kind of out of reach, I appeared to be wrong. Yeah, I fell asleep. It was 31-21, and it appears that just looking through Twitter and looking at the game logs, it got to be 34-21, 13-point lead before Texas got a touchdown midway through the fourth, and then just an interesting reading through Twitter. It seems that after Texas kicked a field goal, I believe Washington had the ball back. Texas kicked a field goal with a minute 12. And they decided not to just fucking kneel on it and punt it to the fucking other end of the fucking football field and pin them on the fucking, like, 10-yard line. I don't know exactly. I was just going through Twitter here, but it ends up with plenty of people complaining on Twitter about the play calling of Washington, and plenty of people saying that this isn't a new thing. Then Texas gets a chance and ends up with 1 second left to have a chance, and people are not thrilled about those play calls down on the goal line. And the game ends at 11:50 Central Time, so almost 1 a.m. On the East Coast, because we just couldn't start this game at noon. But Michael Penix Jr. Had himself a day, 29 of 38, 430 yards and 2 TDs. Woo! Wowza! But yeah, a lot of like people are like, oh, Washington was trying to choke here. I fell asleep. I started going in the third quarter, and my wife like hit me and was like, turn the fucking TV off. You're asleep. I was like, okay. Looks all right. Looks like the game's over. I was wrong. I was very wrong. So Washington and Michigan In the national championship next week, I see the opening line here is Michigan minus 3.5. The over-under is 54.5. That game does start at, I think, 7:30 Eastern time. Let me double check here. College football national championship game time. We actually want to start this. 6:30 Central. So, that's still going to be 10:30, almost 11 o'clock by the time it's over, I bet. Yeah, that game went till fucking 11:50. That game almost went 4 hours. I love that college football changed the clock rules, and they're just like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make these games shorter. Not the time it takes to watch a whole game, just the time the game actually takes. Because then we're just going to fill in 87,000 more commercials. And college football games are still going to go fucking 4 hours. Yeah, okay. That's all I got. Just wanted to finish that up. So Michigan and Washington in the championship game. An all Big Ten final. Pac-12 though. Last game of its existence as a team playing for the national title. That's kind of cool. All right, let's move on. Time for some passing thoughts. I just typed passing thoughts into my fucking Google search bar. I was meant to type in Neo Inoue, so I can tell you who he just fought. We're going to start with that. Neo Inoue fought again this past week against Marlon Tapales to unify the super bantamweight. That is what's the weight there? I think super bantamweight is 120, 122, 126. Super bantam weight boxing. 122, up to 122. So he unified the super bantamweight, I think, just a couple years ago. Not even. He had unified the bantamweight. That was 118. So he's now up to 122. He now holds in 2 fights. He collected all 4 belts. He fought back in July, fought again here in December, and has collected all 4 belts in the division. Is just an absolute murderer when he fights. Where did he unified the bantamweight in December of 2022. So yeah. So he's an incredible fighter to watch, a little guy, but dating back to his fights with Nonito Donaire in November of 19, his fights have just been absolutely incredible to watch. I believe that's only the second or third time when he fought Donaire that it went decision. Third. That was only the third decision he ever had. He's knocked everybody out since. He has fucking bricks for hands. He's a super fun fighter to watch. So if you've never caught a Neo Inoue fight, check it out. They're a good time. The Detroit Pistons had lost 27 straight games last I checked. Why don't we double check and see where we're at now? That could be a higher number. That could be a higher number. Nope, they've won a game. The Detroit Pistons have done it. Just on Saturday, they beat the Toronto Raptors. They are now 3-29 with a win streak of 1. A win streak of 1 for the Detroit Pistons. Look out, everybody. They are coming. They are coming. They're coming in hot. I don't even know how this happened. I'm going to confirm it. But I'm just like screwing around on my phone, or I'm going to type in something on my phone for I don't even know what, and all of a sudden it's like the dollar to the Guatemalan quetzal. Yeah, the quetzal. Yeah, the Guatemalan quetzal. Excuse me. And it's just like 1 Guatemalan quetzal equals negative $0.13. Now, it seems to be not true that 1 Guatemalan quetzal is worth 13 cents, 0.13 American dollars. So yeah, just the more you know. If you're ever heading to Guatemala, The Quetzal is the legal tender there. I didn't mention this when we were talking football and talking about the Lions and the Cowboys game. They did their Ring of Honor there, and Jimmy Johnson got inducted into the Ring of Honor, and he let out a "How about them Cowboys?" And not even a Cowboys fan, not even a particular fan of the Cowboys at all. Like, I will root against them most of the time. You can thank Coach Jeffy for that. But it was just something felt right about Jimmy Johnson screaming, "How about them Cowboys?" I don't know. It just felt like it felt right. I don't know. I can't say anything beyond that. I got a bunch of food takes here. First off, actually, let's skip to some other things before we have fun with food. Let's do some other things. First of all, I got into a fucking Twitter argument with somebody. I'm such an idiot X argument. They were talking about how the cost of college tuition, and they were rambling about a bunch of dumb shit. And I was like, the cost of college tuition is easily understandable. College tuition continues to get higher and higher for almost one simple reason. Student loans are essentially backed or guaranteed by the United States government. You are not allowed to declare bankruptcy on student loans. If you have a business that's failing and you've invested money, your house gets to a point where you can't pay for it, a car, any other sort of loan, you can declare bankruptcy in some way, shape, or form. Exempt from all of those things, all of the different types of bankruptcy, is student loans. No matter what you do, there is no way to write off that amount of money you owe as an individual person. So, where this leads to student loans getting out of control and henceforth tuition getting out of control. Because, and this person tried to say that the privatization of the student loan companies, Sallie Mae, Freddie Mac, or Freddie Mac's the home one, Sallie Mae's the student loan ones. And the privatization of this industry, and that private business is bad. Private business will always take whatever advantage they can take. And when the government sets up a system so ass backwards that there's no reasonable understanding of it, they're going to take advantage of it to the nth degree. If a high school kid, a 17-year-old came up to you and said, "Excuse me, I would like $200,000. I don't want to give you any collateral. I'm not going to pay at all for 4 years, maybe more. And then when those 4 years are up, I have no idea how much money I'm going to make, where I'm going to make my money, doing what to make my money. I'll just figure it out when we get there, and then I'll start paying you back. And it may take 30 years. It may take 6 years. Whatever it is, I would like $200,000, but, give it to me periodically. I'll just take it then." If no bank in the world would be like, "You got it." Not one. But when it comes to student loans, why the fuck not? Because the government has essentially guaranteed that those loans have to be repaid. Colleges aren't stupid. They can see how this works. Oh, instead of charging $5,000, 18-year-old kid will just get whatever amount he needs loaned to him. He doesn't actually have to come up with the money and earn the money and work a job to pay for it. Hence discouraging some people who don't have a plan what to do when they get out of college to pay back that loan. So now it's just free rides to college. Free. And these kids can go have a good time. And no other bank would ever do that. But because the government has backed it, now we got it. Now we got ourselves a little cottage industry here, folks. And the universities see this and they're like, okay, we're going to keep just bumping. And it just kept working. And they just kept getting more. And on top of that, you had every person in every high school across the country. I'm just going to speak from the general time frame I'm in high school and around that age, from the mid-90s into the mid-2010s, saying if you either go to college or you're a fucking loser. And that was fucking beaten into all of us. And I went to college, and maybe I shouldn't have. So now the tuition just keeps going. And then on top of this, you can look up like these universities. The size of the administrations is exploding in the last 20 years. It's all a load of shit. And I firmly believe that if anyone tells you that it's anything other than the federal government's fault for essentially backstopping these loans, I disagree with them. That's the reason it's happening. You can draw a graph back to the 70s and the loans, and the graph looks like that the loans aren't skyrocketing in the 70s because they're so fucking out of whack now. But the graph, if you start in like 75, the first like 15 to 20 years look like nothing's happening because it's getting so fucking out of whack. If you would compare the actual numbers at the time, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, this is increasing a lot then too. It's just the graph has shrunk that level down so much. So yeah. And this fucking idiot was like, oh, the Republicans. It probably was the Republicans. But guess what? It was the fucking Democrats too. Fucking, they're both a bunch of corrupt assholes. And now, just seriously, let people go fucking bankrupt on these things, and you'd be surprised how fast the loans given out would shrink, and the number of people they were giving them to would shrink. You know why people can get a house loan? Because there's a fucking house that the bank can claim. If you don't pay your fucking loan back, they're like, we're just going to take your fucking house. Car, same thing. Oh, you don't want to pay for your car? You don't want to pay your car loan? We'll just take the fucking car and then we'll sell it. There's no way for them to recoup money on a student loan. Well, they're going to take your fucking diploma and sell it? No, they won't. But they don't have to fucking worry about it. So fuck it. More loans for everybody. Oh, God. I fucking had like 35 fucking tweets exchanged. Oh, and another fucking thing that was stupid. Tajari P. Henderson, it has come out that she was paid $150,000 for her role in The Curious Life of Benjamin Button, while Brad Pitt was paid $10 million. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, one of your leading women getting paid, 15% of what Brad Pitt was paid. Not the greatest thing when you look at it, but like, let's compare where they were at that time. Brad Pitt was one of the highest grossing leading men in the world at that time. This came out in 2009, I believe. Let's look at Brad Pitt's filmography leading into that. Yeah, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button came out in 2008. If you go to 1995, I mean, he starts with a little role in Thelma and Louise, kind of breaks it big on A River Runs Through It, has a small role in True Romance, Interview with the Vampire, Legends of the Fall in 94. 95, it really starts to get going. He gets 7. He's in 12 Monkeys. He's in Meet Joe Black in 98, Fight Club in 99, Snatch. 01's a big year for him. The Mexican Spy Game, Ocean's 11, Troy in Ocean's 12 and 04, Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 05, which was a fucking cultural fucking phenomenon due to the whole thing. Another Ocean's movie in 2007. And then he's also in Burn After Reading in 08. He's in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Then in 09, he's actually in Inglourious Basterds. So it's like, yeah, my man is bringing it whenever he comes up. Now, Miss Henson, who I think is a fantastic actress, I want to say. Fantastic actress. And if you could go back in time, you'd probably be like, yeah, I'd pay her more than that. But at the time, her movies that she'd been in, first thing is she's in Streetwise. Her role is Tammy. She is the left-wing student in The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. She's in Baby Boy, Book of Love, Hair Show, Hustle and Flow. She is one of the wives in Four Brothers. Side note, I fucking love Four Brothers. Smoking Aces, Talk to Me, The Family That Prays. And then she's in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And by the way, what lead? Like, what? She's like the third The third thing, she's Queenie. I saw the movie. I don't remember her exactly, but that doesn't mean anything. All this to say, like, of course she got paid less. It's Brad Pitt. Like, he's one of the biggest cultural icons in the last 30 years. She's a fantastic actor. I think they all just want to be called actors now. Incredible. Her in Hidden Figures is goddamn phenomenal. One of the best performances I've seen. Great movie, too, by the way. But, like, let's not just act like they weren't on a different fucking plane there. All right, some food. I got some food takes. Made some pulled pork with the Tailgate Foodies KC combo seasoning in the slow cooker. Also did find out that a couple other friends of mine, JD and Dakota Roof, also were going slow cooker porks. JD was on a smoker though, not the slow cooker. So it was delicious. Had some chips over the weekend. I found we had some sour cream and cheddar and some sour cream and onion, both from Lay's. I got thinking, after I had the sour cream and cheddar, the sour cream and cheddar from Ruffles is far superior to Lay's, but the Lay's sour cream and onion is far superior to Ruffles. Just an interesting little thing there. Then had this was fantastic. Had Dave's Hot Chicken. It's a chicken restaurant, obviously. Fast-ish food, not like fast food. They didn't have a drive-through, but it was quick. Unreal. Best chicken sandwich I've had from like that kind of like a fast food style restaurant. They have all sorts of different heat levels. I had the medium and the hot. Medium. I'm not like a super hot food guy. It didn't even think about it being hot. Hot was a little hot. Like, hot made me think. Hot made me feel it. I had to slow down. I had to take a couple sips of my drink. But God, absolutely phenomenal. If you like a hot chicken sandwich, that's what you got to do. Dave's Hot Chicken. I know they were originally an LA thing, and I think are spreading out across the country. Muy bien. Muy bien. What else? Also watched The Family Plan, Apple Plus movie with Mark Wahlberg. Good movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not fucking, an Oscar nominated thing or the greatest act. It's not fucking Die Hard. Don't get me wrong, but it's fun. Fun movie. If you go into it and understand you're just going to have a good time watching a movie, it's good. I don't think I'm giving anything away here. Secret spy, like he's a secret spy the family doesn't know about. The secret spy that the family or girlfriend or somebody else doesn't know about is a great movie trope. It's used fantastically so many times. Just really fun. You can do a lot of fun shit with it. A good time. I love the secret spy, the spy that nobody knows about. Obviously, no one knows about spies. That's kind of the whole thing. But like the spy that's giving it up, or everyone finding out about the secret spy. I think that's probably the thing, is when everyone finds out about the secret spy. So, all right. I think that's everything. All right. Let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. As always, just want to say thank you to everybody. So thank you. I appreciate all the support. We're Old Walls House is into 2024. The third different year Old Walls House has been alive. So thank you guys again for all the support. I appreciate it. I always say it. I'm having a blast doing this. I hope you guys have some fun listening to it. So thank you guys. As always, thank you to producer Kevy. We also how everything goes without it. I know I struggled through last week, so I appreciate him to no end. Back next week, big week of NFL football. We'll have some results from the college football playoffs. We'll have the national title game obviously as well. So more Flyers, college basketball. We're into the new year, so now we're into the conference play. So now we're getting into the fun stuff of college basketball. So fun stuff coming, and till then. Peace.